everybody, my name's Erica and welcome to my channel, Ginger Books, or welcome back if you're a returning watcher and subscriber. I think I finally found out the words I wanted to use there. So, I'm running out of ideas of what to do already, meaning I've also procrastinated on thinking about this. So, I knew I wanted to do another book tag because I do a lot of reading vlogs and I'm kind of not in a very good time in my schedule of the year to be able to do a whole bunch of reading vlogs. So, but even though I've found that it's pretty popular right now, especially since with the pandemic going on, all we really can do is fun book tags or reading vlogs. But I wanted to do a fun book tag, break up the monotony. I went online and I kind of just Googled fun book tags to do because I just didn't know. Besides doing the extravagant ones that Jesse the Reader puts on, even though I do have a couple in mind that I would love to do. Except there's quite a few I want to do, but as you can tell, my bookshelf's still not set up. I know. I've lived here for a year and it's still not set up. So I found this. It's like a Paper Fury. It's like a blog, I think, for people that like to talk about books. So it's a book blog. And I found this one that's called 20 Questions Book Tag, and it's by, let me see who it's by. So it's called CG at Paper Fury, as I think is her name. I will link this in the bottom of the video to make sure that she gets the credit she deserves, because I read through it a few questions and it looks kind of interesting. So anyways, let's get started. So the first question is, how many books are too many for a series? So my opinion is that there can never be enough in a series, because I'm one of those people that hates it when it's just a duology and trilogy and it feels like I don't get enough. So I guess I like a whole bunch of books in a series. However, for example, I'm going to bring in the House of Night series by PC and Kristen Cast. There is a way to do like a 10 to 12 book series without kind of feeling like it's becoming monotonous and predictable towards the middle of the series. It kind of happens in a way. It just feels like there's not a lot of character building. Not like, let's say, for example, Cassandra Clare's Mortal Instruments series, the OG series, where it felt like the 3 books were so heightened up that I think she needed a book in between to set it for the end in order to do it. But she still captivated you and was able to, even with it was just information and setting up for the next 2 books, to keep you interested. And that's what sometimes I feel like the House of Night kind of lacked in the middle. But then of course it did pick up in the end with the last like 3 to 4 books. But I feel like there's never enough. When I love characters so much, I need more. And when I don't get more, I get really sad. Kind of like the Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco series. I want more. Alright, how do you feel about cliffhangers? They make me angry, but they also make me want to pick up the next book. Unless they never release another book, then I am mad. And a lot of animes and mangas sometimes do that. Especially animes. But I really love cliffhangers. Let's just say that. Hardcover or paperback? So me, personally, I don't mind paperback, but I would rather prefer the hardcover, just because it feels like it's a little bit more protected. If I were to drop it, it's not going to bend or crease everything. The only thing that you would have to watch out for is not breaking the spine or the seal between the first page and the cover. Other than that, I prefer hardcover. Favorite book? I can never pick. My favorite books vary from day to day. So I don't know. I would say my favorite book right now that I've read in 2020 so far. Have I even had a favorite book that makes me want to pick it up again? I don't know how to answer this one. I really don't. My favorite book of all time so far that I've read, and probably since I started seriously reading again, was probably Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco, but I would have to say the entire series because I love the entire series. I will go for that answer for now. I might change my mind while I'm editing. Now, your least favorite book. I don't really keep a least favorite book, because any books I don't like, I don't keep. I don't know. I really don't know. So we're just gonna leave it, I don't know, on that one. Love triangles, yes or no? I love them if they are done right. And that means I'm taking jabs at Stephenie Meyer's Twilight Saga, or series. Because I feel like the love triangle could have been done so much better. But I love triangles. Another weak one that I feel like it kind of was a little bit better towards the end was the Mortal Instruments between Simon, Clary, and Jace. It was just weak from the start, and I didn't really like that either. But the best love triangle I have experienced so far is The Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare. And also, in Escaping from Houdini, there is a love triangle as well, and that was done tastefully, and I love it too. So thank you, Carrie Maniscalco. All right, so question number 7, the most recent book you couldn't finish. It's not the most recent. I was trying to do the Korean readathon, and that failed. There was one book that I just didn't understand the premise of it. And I think it was supposed to be kind of like a psychological thriller, and I didn't realize it until I started thinking about what type of genre it might be in. And I couldn't finish that one, and I can't remember. It's like the Flowers of something. I do apologize. I'll put it down below. And the other one I couldn't finish was After. I loved the movie on Netflix. I couldn't stomach. I got like almost halfway through and I had to put it down because it just, I guess the movie kind of highlighted it, but kind of changed it, of just how destructive the relationship was to begin with. And I just had because the movie ruined it, had a picture in my mind of how the characters should have gone, and it just ruined it for me. So number 8, a book you're currently reading. So currently I am reading Moonlight Sun. Stephenie Meyer's just released it, I think it was like a week ago, and I'm reading it. And surprisingly, since I had issues with Edward rereading the series, so far, I'm up to New Moon, or I should say partway through New Moon, and I have issues with Edward and Jacob. But for Moonlight Sun, I still have issues, but I can now kind of better understand where Edward was coming from, because the whole Twilight Saga is through Bella's perspective, and this is where you finally get an insight of Edward and more of his backstory. So I'm only to chapter 5, but I get it now. But he's still very dramatic and brooding and kind of annoying. Last book you recommended to someone. So that was Carrie Maniscalco's Stalking Jack the Ripper, and I recommended it to my best friend, who I'm hoping we can start a YouTube channel soon together. Stay tuned for that. And I love that series so much. I loved the relationship between the two main characters and how it blossomed, where it wasn't really, she hated him, but in a way I think she turned her sudden attraction to him into hate. So it's a hate to love story set in kind of a historical time period that actually did happen. So it's really nice. So nice historical fiction. I think that's where I was going with it, and I just totally screwed that up. Oldest book you read by publication date. I think anything by Shakespeare, because I have read that before. And I can't remember which one was the oldest, because I had to read The Merchant of Venice, Hamlet, and Romeo and Juliet. So I would say those are probably the 3 oldest. I just don't remember the publication date that I've read. So unless you count then you have to consider some of the epics of Gilgamesh. So yeah, kind of like those, and those were for school. Those are the oldest I've read. Newest book you've read by publication date. Haven't completed it yet, but Moonlight Sun. So, favorite author. Oh, this is going to be a tough one. I don't think I have like a favorite author, but I have several. The ones I usually gravitate towards. So Carrie Maniscalco would be one of them. Cassandra Clare. PC and Kristen Cast, because their writing style did eventually improve. And Rick Riordan. I love his writing too, even though he's middle grade. So, buying books or borrowing books. So, I'm a mix. on this one. Usually I like to buy my own books since I can afford it, because I usually think of libraries are for people that can't really go out and buy books, and since I have a job and I can afford it, I go out and buy books. And also it gives, it gives the stipend back to the author and everything. Nothing against libraries. As I said, I usually only use the library when I, have to kind of pinch my pennies and really want to read this book that I don't know if I'm going to like or not. That's usually the time I use libraries. If not, I only use them for really researching, because as I said, I believe in what Emma Books' philosophy is that I try not to use my library so much, because there is other people that are less fortunate that cannot buy books all the time like I can, and rely on the library to, keep reading and expanding their palette. A book you dislike that everyone seems to love. Right now, I wouldn't say it's disliked, but it has a lot of mixed reviews about it, because you have to be kind of into that fairy tale type smut. But I really do like A Court of Thorns and Roses, and I need to finish that series. I have all of the books, but I need to finish it. 15. Bookmarks or dog ears. So there's nothing against people like marking their books or dog-earing their books, but personally, I'm not a big fan of it, so I use bookmarks. And that's why I have a collection tin right back over here, right there, full of bookmarks. 16. A book you can always reread. So a book that I've always gravitated towards rereading, and it's technically the whole series, and Chronicles, which is the Shadowhunter Chronicles, and now adding Carrie Maniscalco's Stalking Jack the Ripper. Can you read while listening to music? I can read with anything going on in the background. If I'm just tense and stressed, usually I don't, because I have a habit of, when I'm stressed, little noises kind of like tapping or pen clicking or anything like that tends to aggravate me more. There's a word for it. I'm not diagnosed with it, but but usually I can listen to TV as long as it's low in the background, or music, or I put on ASMR, like right now I'm into the Victorian sounds of ASMR, old Victorian London. 18. One point of view or multiple. So I don't mind the multiple point of views, but if I'm really invested in one point of view, I kind of get annoyed when they break off, but I get it. But I don't care about multiple point of views, because, again, Cassandra Clare does that a lot. PC and Kristen Cass with The House of Night starts doing that, I think, in the 3rd or 4th book of their series. So I don't mind it. It kind of gives an extra flavor when you're reading the story. 19. Do you read a book in one sitting or over multiple days? So depending on how invested I am in the book, I will read it in one sitting. That's kind of what happened with the Carrie Maniscalco books, where I literally bought, I think it was Hunting Prince Dracula, and I read it in one day. And then I had to reread it before I got the other book. Last but not least, number 20. Who do you tag? So I guess I'm not really, don't have a lot of BookTube friends. I have one that did subscribe to me, and she's been a pretty good supporter. She comments once in a while on my videos, kind of giving me some inspiration to keep going sometimes when I feel like quitting, because I don't know. I feel like giving up, which I don't want to give up. I'm not a quitter. But, yeah. So, I don't have any to tag, I guess. If I did tag somebody, it would probably be her, and I will leave her channel link down below. Well, thank you so much for watching. Sorry if any of these questions were kind of confusing. Some of them I did kind of brush over, because there were only really one-worded responses. But hopefully that gives you an insight to who I am as a reader. I think the next tag I kind of want to do is just to meet me, or possibly do something else. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah. So thank you so much for watching. If you did like what you saw, please hit that subscribe button and that bell notification so you are notified. I will be posting Tuesdays and Fridays. Tuesdays being this fun bookish content, or other content, who knows, and Fridays being my Sims content. Thank you so much, and have a great start to your week, and I will see you in the next